to ZWIFTY CHAT. Hello, legends, and welcome to episode 11 of ZWIFTY CHAT. I'm sorry again for the chaotic start, but I'm so excited because we have in person the real, the live, the man, the myth, the inspirer of ditties, Mr. Simon Jenkins. Sam. I hope everyone's joining. Simon Jenkins.
No,
Simon,
this is your thing, Rob.
how the bloody hell are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. I enjoyed the ditty. I felt it would be self-fulfilling to join in myself, but yeah, always enjoy it.
Good. I'm glad you like the ditty. Do you know, I only give ditties to my very favourite people. So, and you were the first ditty of my stream. I would think. I tried a ditty on my first thing, but it was rubbish. But yours nailed it straight away. Top quality ditty, no messing. Yeah. So welcome to the podcast. It's been too long. It should have been on earlier, I think. I feel.
Save the best for last. Although it's not last, is it? But you know what I mean.
Though if we continue the conversation that we had in the green room, then it will certainly be the last.
Yeah, true. If anyone caught any of that, yeah.
I was not part of it.
YouTube will be cutting this stream very shortly, and the police will be arriving probably. And we're also joined by my very special and frequent guest, Ben.
I'm just here for the technical issues. Yeah, I'm just here to laugh at the technical issues. I get the background view. the amount of, oh my God, and a few swear words when Rob realised that he had a black screen at the start.
It was you. You give me too little information. I need button by button instruction. So you gave me the.
You said you got everything.
Thing. You gave me.
Yeah, like I got everything sorted. We're ready to go. Anyway, so enough of that. So before we started the stream, we're talking about Simon's whiteboard behind us. And so,
yeah, I knew you'd have a board like that, organised, ambitious.
Never followed. It was done months ago. It's got the word rest on it, which has never happened. And but it's up there to remind me that I once knew about this sort of thing. But not anymore.
You're once a serious structured cyclist.
I now just follow Rob's lead and just randomly ride way too hard.
Yeah. What do the different colours indicate? Different coloured pen?
Actually intensity mainly. So everyone will be glad to hear that most is blue, and that's zone 2, of course. Just linking into what Seb said on the chat. Orange is hard. Green is very, very not low intensity. But yeah.
we once had a psychopath on this podcast called Josh Harris, and he sent me a table of his events, and his dates were downwards. His dates were the rows, and the events were the columns or something. I'm like, what kind of? I hope you haven't done that. I'd be very worried about.
No, it's
Josh,
it's much more generic than that.
Josh obviously has no idea what he's doing. He's a crap cyclist.
Well, it wasn't but it was just the formatting of his table. I mean, I am a data analyst, so I should be able to do a table. But yeah, it just felt weird that he had his dates down the rows. It was like, ooh, rather than dates across the top. It just felt.
We had to start a new podcast about data tables and
Formatting of tables. I tell you, probably more people would watch. It's probably a more generalized subject. Excel
I'd
formatting.
have to skip that one.
Oh, I love that one. I've ever told you that my most watched video is an Excel. It's an Excel video.
I think you mentioned it one of the episodes. Yeah.
Oh well, I'll mention it again. Yeah, I've got 160,000 views on how to import LIBOR rates into a spreadsheet.
What's your next content for that? Have you got any other?
No, I've abandoned that channel. Right, so stuff that we've got to talk about today is we're going to have a delve into Simon. We're going to interpenetrate his interests, and then we're going to.
I'm trying to drink here.
Oh, I keep wanting using that word at work and stuff. Should we merge these things?
You'll get a permanent holiday.
Yeah. It's a real word. Who did our guest last week? Oh, it was Tim, wasn't it? Yeah, he found it's a real word. It's a real word in the Oxford English Dictionary. But so lots of words that could get me sacked, aren't there? Then we're going to very briefly talk about the weekend Omnium and the on-demand time trialing. Little bit on Pack Dynamics 5, little more. Oh, I really love Pack Dynamics 5. Or the idea of it anyway. And then I'm going to show how brilliant I am on drafting like a pro. Might talk about trainer and equipment issues and cheating in Zwift. Everyone likes cheating. Maybe have a little talk about Douce, because Simon Jenkins is doing ZRL, are you not?
I didn't do
crying out loud! You are doing it, aren't you?
I hope to join next week. I didn't do this week because of my cramp issues, but I'm hoping to join next week.
Okay. Right. Oh yeah, actually, I think we'll talk about my thing as well. Actually, yeah, I got DQ'd. It didn't really matter because I finished like way behind everyone else. I said code 15, and it said I've got cadence. No cadence said. I was like, oh, we're not starting this cadence crap with WTRL again. Like, no.
Was this in Zr.app?
Oh man. Right, so hopefully that isn't going to recur, but we can talk about that briefly. And then we've got a quiz. I think it's the easiest quiz that we've got so far, but you must listen carefully. Because, well, yeah. Well, you should listen carefully anyway. It's my podcast. And Simon Jenkins is on, and Ben. So, of course, you should listen carefully. Right. Simon, tell everyone, tell the whole bloody world about your history and cycling and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very long time ago, as an old man.
In a galaxy far away.
I used to be very sporty, not including cycling, interestingly, just about everything else apart from cycling. And I got bored of everything. I ended up at university doing a sports degree. And in my second year, I ended up living with two national level cyclists and a international level triathlete. And I decided the cycling alone was a little bit too hard, so decided to join the triathlete at the triathlon sessions where the cycling was slightly easier. I did actually go out with the cycling club a couple of times while I was there, and I do remember a time where I had to stop, go to an old man's house and get some chocolate and drink from them because I could no longer move
Old
anymore.
man's
It
house.
was,
This sounds like
it was.
some sort of nursery rhyme with a
No,
Indian.
he was outside. He was outside chopping chopping his hedge, and so
That sounds even more
yeah.
I
cautionary
thought you said
tale
chopping
from
some
Bavaria or something.
chopping some firewood for the oven.
So
And then a wolf arrived.
that's really how I started. I did a couple of TTs. I did some cyclocross races. I did a couple of triathlons, and then I got quite unwell when I was at university, and it all became a lot of effort. I was very tired a lot of the time. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I kind of just lost the will a little bit and gave up and went
On
to
all
work.
sport.
And yeah, pretty much, apart from the ones that don't require effort, I still play golf. Yeah, and then I don't know what it was, but about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. So it was after lockdown.
Oh.
I just had a kind of epiphany that I needed to stop being so lazy, not care about the fact that I could never be as competitive as I used to be. And I decided that we had a garden room put in because I was working from home all the time. My wife was fed up of me being in the house.
Oh, brilliant.
And I decided as part of that, I would invest in a bike. I knew about Zwift. I'd heard about it. I'd never really seen it. I decided that I'd sign up. I got a watt bike and I started. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't want to race. I just jumped on and did some rides. And then I decided that I'd watch people doing it on YouTube. I don't know why it came up. Perhaps it was because of what I was searching on Google with regards to Zwift. It came up on YouTube and I started watching Cabman and Eric. To start off with, and racing looked a lot more interesting than what I was doing. So I started to race. I started to get much fitter. I was really enjoying it, and I just, every spare moment I had, I would just sort of like sit down, like when I was eating or in the evening, I would watch a video and I'd start to find a few other people like yourself. I started to get really engaged, and what really happened, the thing that really happened for me was at the end of Eric's videos, he would always say and leave a little comment. Yeah. And I thought, well, you're making an effort to make this YouTube video for me. I'm going to make an effort to leave a comment on every single video that I watch. So that's really where it started. And then obviously
that is a wonderful thing that you do, Simon. I mean, people put the videos out there, and they don't expect anything back generally. A lack of abuse is the most I usually hope for, and I don't always don't always get that. But it's one lovely thing to do, especially to me. Thank you.
Yeah, and look, and the live ones again, when people, if you're watching someone live and they want you to chat back to them. They're making an effort to stream it for you to watch and then to entertain you. So and that's really where it came from. And obviously that's given me a great opportunity to meet a lot of people virtually. Obviously joining the Discords has also been a massive boost to that. And
my Discord in particular, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And HCT as well. And I've also been lucky to meet quite a few people physically as well, which has been great. And it's enhanced my life very much so.
Oh, what a wonderful tale.
And on the racing thing as well, I mean, obviously I was doing it individually, and I was doing a race, and I didn't really appreciate team racing at the time, and that's been a real massive increase in my enjoyment of Zwift as well. But I was doing a race, and I can remember definitely Dan and your mate Pete were in the race, and a couple of other HCT riders. And Pete randomly sent out a message to me saying, "Do you want to race for a team?"
Oh, I thought you were going to insulted you.
No,
who are you? Horrible.
It is unusual for Pete
Are you
not to
real?
send out insulting me because I know he likes to wind you up when he races against you. And I did, and that was my introduction to team racing. I joined up with HCT, and again, that has just massively increased my enjoyment of the Zwifting. And yeah, and again, I've had an opportunity to meet some of the HCT guys. We did a ride. I've been lucky enough to meet you a couple of times. That, you know, like I said to you, they say don't meet your heroes, but in your case, absolutely. It was. That's completely wrong, by the way. In your case, not
A bottom
completely right.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, say that, a bottom sandwich.
He's not your hero, although it's good to meet him.
No, that you do meet your heroes. Occasionally, you can meet your heroes. So yeah. So it's just it's massively enhanced my enjoyment of life, really. So, and it's, you know, I still can't get to the level I used to be, but actually it has made me feel better. It has made me feel more well. It started making me look at my diet much better than I had been, even given the nature of my disease. You know, I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it, but now I am. It's actually making me feel a lot better as well. So yeah, it's been brilliant.
Oh, what a wonderful tale!
Yeah.
Okay, we should just end the podcast there on that highlight. That was
Yeah.
great show,
Good
guys.
night, everyone. Sleep well with your families tonight. Make yourselves better people, just like Simon. Yeah, it is very generous of you to leave those comments, because, I mean, I don't. I mean, I kind of mean to. I watched one. I was like, oh yeah, I mean to do that. I'm like, oh, but I'm doing something else. So it is, you know, it's not an easy thing to do, to just leave a comment, even, because this stuff, as you say, you're generally watching them in the background or something, you know, and it's just like, oh, I mean to do that, and then it ends, and then you end up watching like how someone died on a skateboard once, and you go, oh, that's quite interesting. I'll watch that 50 times.
I like the comments, but the best ones are the ones that tell you, oh, you something's wrong with your video, you missed this or you missed that, and you're like, oh, thank God they told me, because next video I'm not going to make that mistake.
I mean, look, I, you know, for me, I've even on occasion where I've watched something live, gone back and rewatched to leave a comment, because I felt as though it's like the video. So yeah, look, I appreciate the time that people take to entertain me, and look, I went back and I watched almost every single one of Eric's back catalogue back in the day. You know, and it's massive entertainment. I was enjoying it more than watching the TV. Leave them a comment. Yeah.
Do you ever think? What do you both think? Let's have a discussion. That like at the moment, I definitely prefer one YouTuber talking to camera, and just the classic format, that I do, not necessarily my streams, but I prefer them to broadcasts, where the broadcasts are just a bit.
Oh, you mean like the Zwift races where they're commentating on the race and they're jumping back and forth, and you've got no idea what's happening in the race.
It's partly because of there's no broadcast mode in the game where it's good. As soon as they go over the finish line, the thing ends and you can't see the people behind. It's not set up for it. But I mean, I just kind of like the
for me, the actual rider speaking live is much more entertaining than watching the Zwift channel where they are just being commentators. Commentators is about, trying to find the latest, set of words or anecdote or what have you. And watching someone actually ride, talking about their ride at the time is so much more interesting. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I think for me, like, the traditional style of broadcasting, like a Tour de France or a one-day classic like Flanders and stuff, they have to do it that way because they can't have the riders all talking to the camera as they're riding along. So I think if they could actually do that while the riders are racing in the Tour de France, that's the way they'd broadcast it. But then what happens is people go, okay, it's a Zwift, it's a bike race. We have to broadcast it just like we would a TV program. Yeah. But that's we have the technology to show, as like riders, they can all stream their own stream. Potentially what they should do is, if they want to broadcast it, get all the riders to do their own, not everyone, but the people that can, like grab Josh Harris, grab anyone who's an elite Zwifter, and then just feed their races in, have someone in the back room going, okay, this person's saying something interesting. Even if you just replay it 10, 15 seconds after they said it, because you can put a 30-second delay on the stream. No one's going to care.
Yeah, I mean,
and it'll be far more interesting.
You know, in most races, people can talk, can't they? You know, for most of the time, they can talk.
Yeah.
So, and they probably want to as well. You know,
people
like being broadcasted, don't they? In general.
Yeah. The streams I love the most are the team races where they've got the team Discord and you can hear the team talking about tactics, and the ones who actually do talk about the tactics and discuss what they're going to do, it might all blow up in their face, but they're the most interesting ones, because you like to see, you think, okay, they're going to, at 5 kilometers or whatever the next hill is, they're going to do this. And then your anticipation, and then they don't do it because something else happens, or they do it and it works brilliantly. So, yeah, they're the streams that I love.
Yeah, I'd like to do more of that in ZRL, but because we're not, I said we're not one of the top teams. We came second last week, and you know, so maybe we are maybe bossing our division a bit, and we're only up against HCT. They haven't got a clue what they're doing.
Well, as Simon alluded to before, you don't need to be racing at the very top level to be having fun. Like people are racing in DCAT. Like I'm currently in the old DCAT, and if you didn't have anything against my name, and the fact if I didn't look at my power numbers, the racing feels just like it did when I was racing at the higher level.
Yeah.
It's still, you're still trying to, you're racing against people at the same level as you, so you can't just ride away easily, or at the same time you might be struggling just to stay in the pack. So I think if you've got a decent stream, doesn't matter which division you're in, if you're doing interesting tactics or just hanging on for dear life, people watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that it can be more interesting when you're watching people who are a similar level, because you relate to it a little bit more. So I can understand that, but you're right. If someone is enjoying it and they're in the middle of a race, actually, if you don't see the little number, the little letter, which you don't now anyway, really, you wouldn't know. You just, and sometimes the Discord chats probably for the people that aren't up the front of the race are probably as interesting as the ones that are up the front, or they're probably not even talking because they're just bombing it. So, yeah, for me, that interaction of someone in the middle of the race talking about what they're doing, sharing it with people who are watching is, just singing, really makes it more interesting.
deep breathing in my case.
Yeah, like ZMS Studios, they are, they try and bring in riders' streams and stuff, and it like when they did the tiny races, and you get to interact. That's brilliant, and especially like after I don't think they did this, but I don't know why. Like in between, you could do like little interviews. How did that one go? What you thinking about the next one?
Well, there was that moment where some idiot put a horse head on their head. not mention any names, Thomas.
There may be that horse head might be in the chat. I raced Thomas today, tried to help me win a race, but I'm too rubbish. I wasn't able to do it. And Mads turned up. Mads Buster turned up. I was like, oh, that's the win gone. But yeah, he tried to help me out. I'm still rubbish. So oh, you've got lots of things to say, Simon, but I was going to say, how brilliant racing is, isn't it? When you just like compared to just like the other stuff, I would think, when I did a like quite a long warm up this week. I thought I'd give it a go. It's rubbish, by the way. Don't bother. There's just all these people just riding around on their own, doing their thing, like 2 watts per kilogram, like I used to for a few weeks before I found racing. And you just, come join the race, do the racing thing. So I want to make a video of like Zwift, the best bits of Zwift, like people, going deep and like, giving it their all. Because if I hadn't found racing, I'd still be like wandering around at 2 watts per kilogram, I think. Because there's no, you want to get better, but I'd wanted to get better when I was doing my dumb trainer stuff, but I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah, I think there's only so many things you can do, like do the app to get the Tron, but then once you get the Tron, you got to go racing with it.
Yeah, look, in the end, there has to be some, for most of us, there needs to be some point to what we're doing. I still remember back in my school days when we were going to do an athletics meet, and the PE teacher who was taking us said to one of the relay team, said, right, okay, you're supposed to be coming to this race on Friday or whatever day it was. And he said, no, I'm going to training. And he said, yeah, but isn't the point of training to go to races? Why would you do that? And that's the point. Most of us need something to use what we might be doing to do. And for me, that, okay, Rob, racing is your training. But for me, that other stuff is only really worthwhile if it contributes to something that I'm trying to achieve. And for me, that racing is that thing, and Zwifting gives you the opportunity to, I do a lot of group rides, but the group rides are to be fair, I do kind of follow the board a little bit, but they're to match up with things on the board. So I'll look for a group ride that gives me the opportunity to do some zone 2 or some zone 1, or I'll do a banded ride where I can do what I want to do and everyone else can do what they want to do. But it will be the 2 hours that my Garmin watch is telling I'm supposed to be riding today. But the ultimate aim is that on a day, or I'd like to do it more days, but my legs won't allow me. But on a day, I am going to race, and I'm hoping that all that stuff will benefit me, and I want to get better and better. So, yeah.
I suppose, but it's just so much fun to go racing, isn't it? Especially if I can beat you. If I can beat you, I was like, come and race people, so I've got more people to beat.
I think you should check out Zwift Power at the moment because you're back on the top of my list of victims.
Oh man! I think you're my nemesis as well.
Yeah, so she had a few bad efforts in ZR.app a few weeks ago. I think it was when you were really struggling. I think if you were doing it now, you'd probably disappear off my victims list. But I got lucky in that I raced with you at the time when you were struggling a little bit.
I hate that list when you're doing TTTs because like you do like 6 TTTs and all your teammates are your nemesis. Yeah. You're like, that's not fair. Yeah, because a TTT race, like the results still count. So if your teammates, you let 3 or 4 of your teammates win the sprint every week, then they get the wins every year.
Right. Let's not forget that. We're 25 minutes in. I don't think we've even started on the list. Oh man, let's have
time for another ditty.
We've done hello, Sam Jenkins. Hello, Sam Jenkins. But we did have more interview topics. Do you like cheating, Rob, Simon? Do you like cheating?
Well, just before I get to that, I just want to say on the topic of ditties that one of the most special things in my life is that birthday ditty. When I had mentioned in a chat that I don't generally get a lot of birthday presents, and I tuned into the race as I normally would that you were doing on my birthday, and you had created a birthday ditty for me. So I just wanted to mention that.
I didn't want this to become a thank you Rob session, but I wasn't going to do it. I only raced because of that. But I do remember something bad happened, didn't it? Did my chain come off in the sprint as well?
Something at the end. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I remember it was the Southern Coast Road thing. I very rarely do that finish, but chain came off.
But anyway, yes, cheating.
Yeah, do you like cheating? In favour?
We're on cheating now.
I mean, if there wasn't any cheating in Zwift, Gerben wouldn't be able to create videos. So, it's a topic of conversation. Ultimately, the things we do, we want to talk about. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a podcast, would you?
The strange thing is, there's very few rules in Zwift racing, aren't there?
Yeah.
There aren't actually that many rules. So when you call in someone to cheat, you're like, actually. So cheating is generally, I would say,
anyone that beats me.
Sorry? Yeah,
cheating's anyone that beats me.
It's like breaking the rules to gain an unfair advantage, deliberately breaking the rules to gain an unfair advantage, maybe.
I think it's probably in Zwift. It's more if your performance is outside of your actual real world performance is probably the best way to sum it up. Yeah, because like you might not be cheating as such, but if your trainer's overreading and it's overreading by 20%, then you're not actually technically cheating because you're using a trainer. But
yeah, I wouldn't say they're actually cheating either. I would say
they're not, like,
if they're doing their best, it's like the best they've got.
Well, it depends on what if it's 20% over and you've got the opportunity to change trainers or contact the manufacturer, that's one thing. But if it's like 6% over and you've done everything you can, then that's different. But I think because there's so many times, like I was thinking about yesterday, I didn't have a chance to get my heart rate monitor because my stepmom, my mother-in-law, I should say, was in the bathroom where my heart rate strap was, and it was like 5 minutes to the race. And luckily, it was an event that didn't require heart rate data. But I was thinking, why do we need heart rate data these days?
Did you think about that, like knocking and to say, "Could you pass it out"?
I was thinking about that, but I was like, no, it doesn't. I don't need it for this race. But I was thinking, why am I stressed about heart rate data when, like, what do we do with heart rate data? It's people go, oh, they're not using heart rate data, they're cheating. But I can be super unfit. Like my heart rate's still the same now when I race compared to when I was doing 2 watts per kilo more for the same duration.
I mean, we don't see many heart rate cheats. It's very rare you see someone, you're like, look at their heart rate. That's obviously cheating.
Usually it's just the monitor that is not working. It's like,
exactly.
It seems to me the most ridiculous thing when I actually think about it. Like everyone accepts, okay, you need heart rate monitor, but what do we do with it?
I'd assume the reason for the heart rate monitor is people who are manipulating their pedaling with a device. If you don't have a heart rate that looks like you're actually pedaling and going up, increasing and decreasing your efforts because you've got some sort of physical device connected to your pedals and that's why I assumed that Zwift Power just cancels out all non-heart rate monitor.
I think that was a thing probably 6 years ago, but has it ever actually been a case?
But as Zwift Power changed,
maybe it's because it's there that they don't get it. You know what I mean? Like if there was, which I suppose there isn't with Zwift Racing Score. It's a kind of weird grey area at the moment, isn't it? Where the results, like Zwift Power, doesn't count towards Zwift Racing Score. The Zwift Racing Score looks at the results in Zwift. So it's like what a way. To lose the race according to Zwift Racing Score, you have to come last over the line. They don't care about Zwift Power. But maybe what I'm saying is that if there was no heart rate requirement, then maybe we'd be inundated with bots.
But is that true? Because I can stick a heart rate monitor on, sit down on the couch, and I can do the race. Like there's no like, oh, your heart rate's incorrect. It just says, oh, I'm getting a signal. You're in the race.
And that is a good point. It doesn't actually check your heart rate data, does it? So it just says, have you got any?
Well, and it is any as well. I once did a ZRL race where my heart rate monitor wasn't connected, and it was before the new pairing thing where you can pair without stopping. So I got my son to bring out. Oh no, I'd forgotten it. So I got my son to bring it out, or a spare one. He brought out my spare, and I just stopped before the finish line, and paired and then finished. Because if I'd finished with no heart rate readings whatsoever,
I don't know.
I would have got half points. But I just stopped, missed the group, missed the bunch sprint, paired, crossed the line with like 5 heartbeats registered, and that was enough to say that I had a heartbeat. Like, what does that show you? But
and everyone's got different heart rates because some people are like, oh, you're only doing 120 beats per minute. I'm not even riding when I do that. But some people are like you. What's his name? The really bad triathlete who's a great cyclist from Canada. I've forgotten his name, but he's Lionel Sam. What's his name? No, he's Canadian. Anyway, he always shows he's doing his outdoor com events or com attacks. He gets the com, but his maximum heart rate's 130 beats per minute. And so if he was on a Zwift race, he'd be, oh, what a cheat. That's not his, he must be gaming the system, but he just has a really low heart rate. Whereas someone else like cycling with Matt's, I've seen on his Discord, is like 215 beats per minute. And he hasn't let the pen yet.
That people do use that to accuse me of cheating. Your heart rate's 120. We're 3/4 into the race. I'm like, yeah, you haven't put in an effort. I've been sitting at the back. I'm on my disc wheels. I'm chilling, and my max is 170 anyway. Oh, that was so we have Gerbin's going to come on soon, and we're going to do a tier list of worlds, which I didn't put in the thing. And oh man, I've got a feeling this is going to be a long one. I've got to tell your wives that you will not be seen tonight. Gerbin. So we're going to do. How about a tier list of different types of cheats? Do you think that'd be a good one?
Different types.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
like what is cheating?
as-
Like is cheating? Is like
Well,
cause, like sandbagging. Is sandbagging cheating? Oh,
that's definitely the grey area.
well, yeah, but it's gaining an unfair advantage, isn't it? But it's not against the rules.
Well, it's like I did a race yesterday where I tried to attack 1 kilometre out, got caught, and everyone just went past me.
Yeah.
And I got a worse and sprinted. Did something happen with my...
yeah.
It sounded
It was
Is
like
it
you
my
got
microphone?
zapped by an
By a
alien or
seven.
something.
Yeah, I was like, what's that?
Oh, you're muted now, Ben. Right, let's just talk and Ben sort out his audio issues. Any other grey areas of cheating that you can think of? I mean, there's
Well,
weight
there's a-
doping. There's weight
yeah.
doping, which is just cheating, as far as I'm concerned. It's not even a grey area. It's
Yeah.
just cheating, but lots of people do it. So
Yeah, a bit of height doping. Obviously, there's the not so much the trainer issue, but the type of bike thing as well. Although generally you can't race in that scenario, so
what do you mean, type of bike?
they're kind of spinner bikes and things like that. The ones where your cadence and power are exactly the same on the graph, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I think they generally I don't think they even come out as the Z Power Ranger type riders either, do they? But at least now Zwift have removed those riders from the main Zwift races.
What, they've removed like the wrong trainer? Did they?
No, the riders that don't have a true power
Right. Yeah.
reading. I think that's what a Z Power Ranger is. Somebody can correct me in the chat, but I know they're some of Gerbin's favourites.
Yeah.
There was one. I was watching Gerbin's latest stream today about a chap who kept getting the cone of shame and then coming back into the ride. Now it was
Really?
a Tour de Zwift. Yeah, it was a Tour de Zwift ride, so it was a group ride.
late join.
But they were still getting the cone. They were being knocked out, and then they were coming back. But they went in and out 5 times or something.
Oh, that sounds a good one. I've watched that before.
I went and checked their power graphs, and they've only got 4 rides in there, but there are two Tour de Zwift rides, and one of the power graphs, the blue and white line, are completely straight. I mean, how is that even possible? So, I can't even think of a scenario that would create that, because most devices still have a level of, they would cause a level of that in there, but the line is just like this. It's just bizarre. So
I got into this late, but so we're talking about the group ride, the Tour de Zwift.
yeah, Gerbin's recent ride where
so,
the Cone of Shame rider.
Yeah, so that would have been AMP plus, but basically you can't, if you set AMP plus, you can't make it deviate unless you manually enter it. So you can put in 400 watts and it'll just stay dead level at 400 watts. So but the thing about group rides is they'll let Z Power riders in with AMP plus.
But strangely, this rider had the little, so I thought if you were like that, you didn't have the little lightning bolt. But they did.
No, because you select trainer. Yeah, you can select trainer. So what you do is you select trainer FEC, and so it'll read as a trainer. But there might be another program, but I forgot what's it called. Simulant is what you use. So it's basically what Zwift Insider and I use to test bikes, and it'll come up as a trainer. But I'm not sure. There might be another program where you can randomize it, but you'll just have a dead straight line until you change the power. So it'll just be like constant building blocks if you're trying to change the power. And most people, if you're using that cheat, you wouldn't bother. Because if you're cheating, you don't care what anyone thinks. So it's different than Z Power. So Z Power, you're actually using your cadence sensor, and you will be up and down. But this is happened when I was in a group ride, and someone was saying, "Oh, you get out of the game, you're a cheat because you're a Z Power rider, like a Power Ranger." But I said, no, just let them race because they obviously can't. They haven't got a smart trainer. They pay for Zwift. Zwift needs to give these people somewhere to ride. They might be cheating like hell, but if you want to race against legitimate people, join a race. If you're doing a group ride, it's a group ride. Don't complain about people who pay for the game and have literally the only thing they've got is a wheel-on trainer that has a cadence sensor. So, yeah, I know people complain about the cheating, but it's like, well, you can't complain about that because you've entered a group ride knowing that these people can enter. So don't it's your own fault. Join a real race where you have to have a trainer.
Yeah, I mean, a true Z Power Ranger rider, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. You know, the racing thing, it's good that Zwift have now removed them from the kind of key main races. But yeah, it is a tricky one, but some of them aren't true Z Power Rangers, bots, etc.
Yeah, but no, I can't hear you, Rob. Maybe the chat can, but I can't hear you.
I can't either.
Oh, I'd muted myself like an absolute pillar. I was wondering why you're being quite so rude. I was like, well, I've got something to say. It's my podcast. Why are you not listening to me?
That was a highlight of the podcast, I think, just your animated face and no one hearing.
Yeah,
just don't go on just don't go apologising to Nazis this one, okay?
Well, I was given no, I will not say that. Right. I was just going to repeat some. I was just going to say something stupid. What was I going to say? I'll say it anyway.
Never stopped you.
Yeah, as long as they're not doing coffee stops on the top of the climb. But you can also grab on the back of them and win the race anyway, because they're maxed out at 400. So if you get them on a flat race, whoo, they can shoot you away. That's not cheating.
So now let's go on a tangent of coffee stops. Is the newest event, can you do a coffee stop after 5 kilometers? I saw Zwift Insider in an article and people are saying, you can actually do a coffee stop with 5 kilometers to go or within the 5 kilometers before the finish. Has anyone tested that yet?
Ooh.
Not in any rides I've done. It's always switched off, but maybe it is new.
Well, I think it's because Zwift Insider was saying it's supposed to be turned off after 5, but people were commenting that you can do it later. So I was thinking about testing that today, going on there, because you don't have to press it. You can just see if it's on or not. But so with coffee stops, the next thing is what needs to be, like, does anyone understand? If you're riding with, say, 3 or 4 riders and 2 of them do coffee stops, is it like a rubber band effect where the other rider, if the other rider does 1 watt per kilo, you're basically dragging the group and it averages between you and the one who's doing 1 watt per kilo?
I don't think so. I think it takes the group speed and ignores your power or lack of it.
Yeah. So I wonder if you can drag, like because you've seen a lot of times there'll be a breakaway before riders and 2 of them take a coffee stop and then the group catches those riders again really quickly. So I wonder if there's basically a parachute effect.
You think there's a parachute effect? I don't know. I don't do group rides. And if I do, I don't take coffee stops in what's effectively a race. But yeah, what an interesting question, Ben. I wonder if anyone in the chat knows the answer.
Thomas said that someone took one during Laverick's breakaway yesterday.
Oh yeah, I think it was him. That received much opprobrium.
Maybe I should check that to see if Ed's speed drops.
But could you
Ed didn't take a coffee stop?
No, the guy on the breakaway with him. So he's basically riding with a guy with a coffee stop. So I wonder if it affects Ed's speed.
No.
Yeah, if you didn't care though, can you drag back the people taking a coffee stop? So if you were with 2 other riders coffee stopping and you slowed down, would they stay with you? So you could actually drag them backwards as well.
So it's like the ultimate, like, stuff you for taking a coffee stop. I'm just stopping.
Yeah, that's it. If you're not going to help me, then I'm stopping. And everyone's going to go past the 2 of you as well. So
yeah, that must be the case, surely.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Next stream, we're just going to grab a lot of coffee riders and just stop.
Let's start testing
need a
coffee
whole,
stops.
Yeah, we need like the Kaboom team where we just get back at coffee stoppers. But I said this before, but I got dropped using a coffee because I was like, I'm going to test out the coffee, and you go up the hill, it's fine, but when you go down the hill, you just lose. You just get dropped straight away because. I'm not sure how.
That.
Yeah, I forgot.
I bet it tries to keep your power the same or something like that, and that doesn't work on the hill.
I think that's what it is because in a group ride, you need to keep pedaling down the hills, otherwise you get dropped because everyone's doing, 3 watts per kilo down the hill trying to stay in the group.
Well, yeah, and if you hit the front, you whack some air, and then you need to put in a dig. It won't do that for you, will it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I got dropped taking a coffee. So
good.
I thought I was quite
good,
funny.
Ben.
I was like,
I'm glad you did.
Still fire.
Punishment.
I was still like 6 kilometers to go. I had to ride by myself. Put some effort in.
Right. Right. Okay. We've barely touched the list. We've barely touched the bloody list. Look, we're not even on item 2. We're not even on item 2. You're too interested. You two. I'm not going to invite you back if you keep saying
interesting. It looks like the blue screen of death. I'll get the blue screen of death every time that comes up. Like, oh my god.
Okay, I'll change it. Oh, you could change it. You could supply a bloody artifact. You could supply an artifact every now and then. Bloody hell.
It does look like Word Perfect 2.0, Rob.
It's done like 2 minutes before the show after I've unloaded the shopping. I unloaded the shopping, then I had to do this. Bloody hell. What do you want me to do? Right, you two talk that. Right, oh no, I'm going a bit mad now. Right, this weekend, I really like this idea. I don't know if anyone's done it before, but the herd, moo, are doing an Omnium. I thought I could pronounce that. Omnium. The most confusing event of. Is it the most confusing event in cycling? What's the one with the moped? What's that one?
Kieran.
What is that?
Kieran.
Yeah.
Kieran is possibly more complicated, but the Omnium is one of the more complicated ones. So it's effectively a 6-race point series, and they're doing that this weekend. That looks quite fun. If I was good at cycling, and I didn't have to go for it.
I've forgotten they used to do a few of these during COVID, which was fun. Usually it was like 3 events. So you do like a sprint and a time trial, and then what was the other one? Hill climb. That's right.
Well, that's what they're doing.
So it's basically what they're doing, but they're 2 days.
Yeah, this Saturday. So it's 10 a.m., 10:30 and 11:15, I believe, on Saturday. Thanks to Thomas Sorensen again for providing information. And then Sunday, so Saturday's a sprint race. Oh, the classic. Oh, that's on Jarvis Island, isn't it? Hill climb on the grade. Ooh. And Twilight Harbour. That's got to be quite flat, isn't it? Twilight Harbour, or does that have a climb in? I don't know that route. It must have a climb in.
It might have.
I've never done it. It's probably got the temple in or something like that. Stupid. Then Glasgow Crit Circuit Classic, a 4K ITT, on McAllen Loop, and then a scratch race on It's a Climb. 30 kilometers to finish. Scratch race. Oh, that's the way to finish it, isn't it? You don't want to have stupid ITT.
You don't. Yeah, don't one of those. There's 2 of them, but do you prefer a 10 mile or a 4 kilometer? It's weird how they've got kilometers and miles. Well, because they've got a 10-mile individual time trial, and then they go 4 kilometer individual time trial.
Yeah, I suppose it's a classic distance, but they've provided the metric conversion. So, yeah, everything here, everything in the UK actually, even though we're quite all biking into kilometres, but all the distances are, you either do a 5 mile or a 10 mile TT. You don't do a 5K in this.
Well, you have to, because it rounds out weird, doesn't it? Like if you do, you want whole numbers.
Yeah, you do.
Michael wants you to do a podcast during one of these races. We do like all of us riding at the same time and talking.
Yeah, that has been mooted for quite some time doing that, but I don't like it. There's too much to do. Too much to do. Maybe you should do. You could do it. I couldn't.
I'm in China, so I can't do it.
Loads of buttons to press. Oh yeah, you're away from next week. Is it next week?
Yeah, I leave on Tuesday, so flying out.
Well, I hope you have a great trip.
So do I. Thanks for that.
Yeah, so do that if you've got nothing else to do. Push yourself. Right. Next thing. I don't know if even to say this, but Eric Schlange suggested that there should be an on-demand time trial because I think they've ended the TT events. I said that they were going to. I don't know if they actually have. I might have been lying. But yeah, wouldn't that be good if there was? You can just pick a route per week, and anyone can just go on. I think it'd be a good like introduction. What did they call it? A gateway drug into racing. If you could just go on, do a TT, set your time, and there's a leaderboard and stuff, and everyone, and you can try and improve your time
So this
every week.
So this is native in Zwift. So when you go into the main menu, it says, okay, this is an event. Enter this. I'd like that because sometimes you don't have time to enter the time trials at the time, and it'd be a much bigger result list rather than having 10 people on the time trial. You might have thousands.
Yeah, and assumedly you could, filter the results by age group and pace category, score category.
If you have enough filters, eventually you win.
Yeah, exactly. Of the 40s, of the 51-year-olds in the UK who
live on my street.
I am in the top 120. That kind of thing. What do you think of that, Simon?
Well, linking into the Future of Zwift question, my issue with that is I doubt their code can cope with it. So, maybe they could.
It doesn't seem like
do
a million miles
but
away from it because they record all the. They record all of the like Tour de Zwift rides that you do free rides on. They all count as your, so they're registering them somehow, and
they've got the segment times where as you said, you've got the ghost. So they've got everything already there because you can look at the top person in the ghost. So it must be in the background there.
I suppose the thing is that you'd have to pretty much do it so that you adopt ITT rules. So you couldn't have draft on, could you? Otherwise, it'd just be a farce.
Well, if you've got the TT bike, you're not going to get draft anyway.
Yeah, so you have to have a TT bike to do it, to qualify.
Yeah. When you join, you'd have to probably go into a pen as a single rider from your screen. It's not a race in the events list. It would be, in the main screen. That's the bit I think they'd struggle with. Well,
let's dream a little. Let's aspire to better things. Do you know? I mean, if we're talking about the future of Zwift, I mean, some stuff might just soon become really easy. That is incredibly hard at the moment. Like in my job, with AI, it just does some incredibly hard stuff in no time at all. And you still have to test it, and it's still occasionally really stupid. Like I don't know if I've told this story before, but I was doing I do like a regular quiz of stuff at work. So I sent this. I needed a quiz question which had the answer 13. So I asked AI. I was like, "Can you think of a numerical quiz question to which the answer is 13?" And it said, "Yeah, sure. What is the first prime number over 10?" I was like, and I nearly copied it down because I was like, "Oh right, yeah, okay." Like, what? What about 11? And it said, "Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, 11's also a prime number." It's the next number after 10. But it just might make all this sort of stuff trivial. It might just rewrite all the code, like moving to Unity or whatever. In a couple of years' time, because AI is just a toddler at the moment. It's barely out of nappies. In a couple of years' time, you could just say to AI, rewrite all of Zwift's code and reconfigure their artifacts or whatever so that they're in Unity, and it might do it in 5 minutes perfectly.
Have you been watching the
Maybe.
Nvidia's? You're doing watching the Nvidia's show at the CES, have you?
No, but I mean, it's just from my experience. I mean, it just makes some incredible, stuff that could have took me a week now takes me 2 hours.
I just want to be able to change my HUD. Just something simple.
Yeah, I know, and they can't do it at the moment because they obviously want to. They would obviously like to have a customizable HUD, wouldn't they? And they would obviously want to do all that stuff, but they can't because of their stupid proprietary software. I say stupid, it's like, my job in the back. You come across something, you're like, why did someone do it like this? Why have they done it like that? And yet, it was probably people exactly like me 15 years ago who were doing it for a very good reason.
Is it James Mayfield? I always think about James Mayfield, I think, for some reason, as the original programmer. Is it James?
No, it's not James, is it? It's
Oh, who was it? It was anyway.
I really, really like him. Did you listen to the podcast with him on?
Which one?
He I don't know. It was a weird one in that I think it only came out 6 months ago or something like that. But it was recorded 5 years ago, and then it just appeared on this obscure podcast. And it was just great about him, like developing it in his bedroom, and it just made me, just like really, like, oh yeah, kind of, oh yeah.
That's the thing. We bag it out, but it was never designed to be like this. It was just basically a guy just wanted to ride virtually rather than because you couldn't ride outdoors.
Is it John Mayfield? Oh.
John Mayfield, maybe. Yeah, I think I'm pretty certain it's Mayfield.
Yeah,
what's the chat say? Is it in the quiz?
It's not in the quiz because we've just rambled over his name, haven't we? I couldn't have possibly predicted that you'd rumble upon.
You're bagging out his code.
John.
I have to defend him. Yeah, John Mayfield. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I love those stories, like of how businesses, come into being from, little ideas in bedrooms and stuff. Anyway. Right. Oh, we've still got the herd thing up. Sorry about that. Right. Oh, we've really got to get cracking. Crikey, we are well behind the 8-ball on the list. Dear me. Right. So I was going to have a look at your video, but I didn't manage to download it before because the shopping came. Should we try and look at it on the internet?
You can, but I think we can pretty much sum it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can pretty much sum it up as you can use. I think if you're doing the comms like the Alp or Ventop, yeah, definitely use the climbing bike. But if you're just doing little punches like Zwift. Was it forward com? Even the reverse hilly com.
Not everyone will have watched your video. They should. It's ridiculous that everyone doesn't watch your videos. It's like the most important stuff you need to know about Zwift.
I think it's because of my bad thumbnails.
Yeah, thumbnails are just everything, aren't they?
Yeah. So to start off, I basically tested an aero bike versus a climbing bike, and before anyone says the climbing bike was rubbish, it's one of the best climbing bikes in the game. Plus also used the DT Swiss non-disc wheels, which is also great climbing wheels. And even if I tested the very best climbing bike, the difference is going to be so minuscule. When you're riding in the draft, the aero bike was a bit more efficient. It'd get to the front of the group a bit easier than the climbing bike, but when it hit the front, it would actually get dropped from the group while the climbing bike stayed in the group. So the big takeaway from this is then what Rob's, I think, going to talk about, which is riding efficiency.
Yes. Well, yeah, I did think. I mean, when I watch it is strange. I'm so biased when I watch your video. I'm like, "Come on, aero bike! Come on, aero bike!" Because I want my choices. I want my choices to be confirmed. I don't want to be like proven wrong over the last year.
That's what I had to look at just one screen and ignore, like, I'm riding as the aero bike now, just ignore the climbing bike, and I'm riding as the climbing bike, just ignore the aero bike. So sometimes I'd like, oh, the aero bike got dropped. I didn't notice that. I thought it was off the front at some stage.
Yeah, but one thing which was interesting was that when you went through the gravel section, because you were riding Mercury, weren't you? and you went through the gravel section, and the aero bike got dropped on the gravel section, and I think that shows just how much weight makes a difference when rolling resistance is the main factor rather than air resistance.
Maybe, but I had to go back. I think it might have got a sticky draft, but I did do a test a long time ago when we used to do bike swaps up the Temple Com.
Yeah.
And I did a test where a 60-kilogram rider rode with a gravel bike and a 100-kilogram rider rode with a road bike. And the 100-kilogram rider was like at the same watts per kilo. The 100-kilogram rider was just slight.
That's come on. That's
yeah, but it showed that it on gravel, watts is king. So it's if you ride around. But it's a massive multiplier. So if you're riding around on the jungle is beneficial to the heavier riders because it's watts that matter rather than your watts per kilo. But the problem is they've changed the rolling resistance on the gravel to more like road. So that benefit to the watt monsters has disappeared. So I think maybe what you saw, it could have been, like, we can do a rolling resistance for disc bikes, but I think it was more that there was a sticky draft and that aero bike lost momentum just at the wrong time because everyone pushes a little bit harder in the gravel.
Do you know, I'm such a pathetic man, Ben. I really am. Oh, what's this one on?
This one's the previous one. This is the steering versus non-steering.
Oh, I hate myself. Do you know, because you didn't just say, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right." You're right, Rob.
But because from everything I know from reading and also doing my own tests, the disc wheels have exactly the same rolling resistance as any other road wheels. So I don't. Yeah. I think it's. I should have put a label in there for you. We go down the hill, so it's not too far into it.
Rob, just while you're doing that, is it all right if I take an old man's coffee stop? I've just got a cup here. I'm just going to stick it over my head.
Is it a group ride or a race?
It's a group ride. I'm just going to pop off and take an old man's coffee stop, and I'll be right back. I've only got 3 minutes, so I'll be back in within 3 minutes. Otherwise, I get a sack. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the video's making noise. I don't like that. Oh, can you hear the video making noise, or is that just?
No, I can't hear the video.
Right, I started it in my browser. Yeah, so the arrow gets dropped on the gravel. Like, you didn't even notice. Come on, Ben, give me some credit. One day, I just want your approval. You know so much about Zwift, and just one day, I'd like you to say, "Yeah, Rob, you spotted something I didn't. I got dropped on the gravel because I was."
So you got to go back a bit because this is where it's starting to lose it. But so there was that. Who's that rider? I can't read because it's a little bit blurry on mine. But it says he's getting sticky draft on that rider now.
What are you talking about?
So the aero bike's on the American riders, just in front of it, and so that line's getting dropped, and so the aero bike's just was stuck on that wheel. Now that rider's accelerating.
The problem was, way back though, wasn't it? So he's fine. He's going forward. He's going forward in the group.
That's what I'm saying. I think he just got stuck on that rider at the back of the group, which happens to a lot of people.
But look, right. So he's at the front of the group here. Doesn't hit the front.
Yeah.
Doesn't hit the front, but he's moving backwards. Oh, why is he moving backwards there?
Well, go back a bit further then. Go back. You're going to disturb the momentum. Go back another 30 seconds.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
You're determined that I'm not right, aren't you? You're just so determined that I'm not right.
I see at the moment he's moving. Well, the aero's bike's moving forward. Look at the draft, 140. Okay, there, just dropped draft completely down to 70. And then starts moving back again. So it's like,
this is where the draft again. No way is he moving back there.
But you've lost momentum. He's doing 40 versus 41. So it's 39 versus 40, 38 versus 40. So he's lost the momentum before that.
Oh, get out of it, man.
And then there's 30. Yeah, like the momentum was lost just before he hit the gravel. And then he gets stuck on that rider, the American rider.
Do you not
But
think
if
there's
you want,
anything to that? That there's weight and
I can do a
rolling
test, but I think it just shows because you lost like 100 watts of draft, which is if you're riding exactly the same power. And I'm using the climbing bike, so all I'm doing is just doing the minimum amount of watts possible with the climbing bike. So I'm just
Yeah, okay. You're right again,
so,
Ben. You're right again. I hope you're happy
like I
with
can test
yourself.
it.
Yeah, well done.
I
You're
can
right.
test
I'm
it,
wrong.
but
Yeah, okay. Well done.
but
Yeah, well done, Ben.
I'm glad you looked at my video such in depth though. Yes.
Yeah, well, I wanted your approval. I didn't get it quite, but one day, one day.
I can do another test with the gravel, but I think
Can you just say
it's
something
just
like, just leave me a clue so I could be right about it?
you were right that the aero bike got dropped. Yes.
Oh man. Right. So how about we watch a video about how brilliant I am? How do you
Yeah,
fancy
okay,
that?
we'll watch a video. Then I can give you a confident boost after that. I hope Simon's just back in time to watch as well.
Hello, Simon Jenkins. Simon Jenkins. Troy's here as well. I should come up with a ditty for Troy. I was very pleased that Troy joined us. He said he was going to, and he has. So, right. So we've got so much to cover, but so I feel kind of guilty going into this. But nevertheless, let's do it. So what I thought I'd just show, like, if you're dialed into the draft, if you're at one with the draft, this is the kind of stuff that happens. So coming down this hill, I'm not really concentrating on, what the gradient is. I just feel it. And I'm down to 0 watts on that corner. Everyone else is pedaling like mad. It's the start, straight out of, with only 300 meters in, and I'm taking a rest already. So it's just what naturally happens if you get obsessed with the draft, which is the key to maximizing your performance and also probably getting bumped up in ZRS score. But yeah, so you just see, like, I think on the next corner, I was actually starting to start my what's it called, source. But even like looking away, I'd still drop down to like no watts because I can feel the difference in the resistance. I know that I don't have to pedal on this bit. I don't really have to pedal because I'm down to -2, -3. Okay, I look up. I was like, oh, as long as you're in the draft and you're getting, so I'm getting 250 watts of draft compared to the people on the front. They're not doing 400 down this little descent. It's only -2, but it's just before the climb. It's so important to get a rest. You don't want to be putting out your 20-minute power even just before a hard 3-minute climb. So I thought I'd show this, and even like little 1% drops, you can ease off. You can ease off because the speed goes up. You're not going to drop back very far. And, here I actually wanted to drop back anyway. I was a bit too far forward for where I wanted to be. There's little danger at this early stage of the race. I showed the climb as well, but I suppose what I'm ideally looking for is trying to have 4 riders sort of lined up in front of me in a climb, ideally. But I don't want the leaders to get away. So I'll use like 0 watts as almost like a brake. So come to the top of that one. That's where you want to really put the power. But even, did you see there? It just went down to 0 just for a second because I got to the top of the climb. No one's going. I'm fine. There's no draft to be had when you've just gone up a 15% ramp. So you don't mind hitting the front. But as soon as you have and no one's going past, cool, I can go down to 0. And here, when you're at the top of the climb, there's no draft to be had, to be spoken of. And you can I kind of let this guy go. Oh no, I didn't show the next bit, but yeah, we caught him by the bottom because I wanted him to go. He had 3 seconds gap, 2 seconds gap, and maybe that might, if you're the favourite for the race, then you want to follow him. But I wasn't the favourite for this race, and making him work to try and keep his lead and making the group behind try and catch him absolutely works in my favour. So just let him go. Let him have 2 seconds. No problem.
Yeah, the classic dangle. Let them dangle and burn their matches.
Yeah, like a 2 second lead. And if he can make that work, there's no way I'm going to catch him, even or I'm going to live with him anyway. Right. So this is my favourite bit in Zwift, and so is Steve Jukes. Steve Jukes said his favourite bit in Zwift. So you're coming down from the lap banner in Scotland. You're getting really high speeds, over 50, without hitting any watts whatsoever, pretty much. Other people are working a bit, but I'm certainly not. I just put in little spurts to make sure I'm not dropped, but in general, most of the way down, I'm barely touching anything. And I want to keep your eye on this rider. Is a German rider with the name STR. So I called him string function because I'm a programmer. I was like, his string function STR. That's what it's called. And as we're coming down here, has his name appeared yet? Olafsson won the race, though he does. His watts stay very static for a long period of time, and then suddenly drop to zero quite frequently when he's in trouble or when he wants to win the race. So there's
What are you
string.
implying, Rob?
So there's. Can you see string function? The German flag up ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there he
Yeah.
is. He's doing his thing, and for some reason he's doing 4 watts per kilogram, and he's catching this Venning guy who was off the front. I'd marked I'd seen his the rider list, and he was the strongest rider, but he attacked down the hill. I was like, okay, that's exactly what I need. He looked like the strongest rider in the race, or group ride, if you insist, Ben. So string functions on the Bluetron, a bit further ahead. So we're coming into this thing, and I'm at this point. I'm like, I want to be further back. I want to be further back. So I'm barely, actually, there's a little bit to go to the corkscrew climb, but in general, I'm thinking I want to be further back than this. So I'm going to pretty much stop pedaling because and they is doing. So string functions doing 4, 4.4, 4.1, and I'm doing 0. So I'm getting all this rest, all this great rest going in. I still want to be further back, flattening off a bit, so maybe want to add a little bit. Where's string function? I can't quite see him. Oh, he's made his way to the front now. And he's still working at 4 watts per kilogram to keep himself at the front. And where's he gone? So I think he's on the right-hand side of the front group. His flag does pop up in a second. Yeah, there he is. So he's at the front. He's got to the front. Well done, string function. You're 4 watts per kilogram all the way down that hill. Really paid off for you. You're at the front. And then we hit the climb. And we're hitting it at 52 kilometers per hour. So the draft at this stage is giving me 260 watts. Free. And I'm doing virtually nothing. So, and if you add those together, so I'm having effectively to do 600 watts just to maintain my position. Those at the front will have to be doing 600 watts. 600. So I'm doing 350 watts to maintain my position. Inputted. The guys at the front will have to be doing 600, and he doesn't. So he's the guy at the right on the front. All that air hits him as he's coming up the hill at 46 kilometers per hour, and he just flies to the back of the group. There he is. He's putting out the same watts as me, but because he hit the front, he just flies to the back. And then there he is. He's got his red. Does he hit red numbers there? Oh, yeah, there he is. There's a few. He has to absolutely sprint, and he uses his aero at 30 kilometers per hour. So that's doing him no good at all, really. But there he is. He's coming back past me. But he's doing like 10 watts per kilogram, and I'm doing 5. It's such hitting the front is such a bad idea, especially in situations like that. And I thought I'd give you a little bit of a treat. Swifty maneuver at the end. The guy with the straight lines after he's done a big effort, and then the big drop off drags this other guy to the finish line. So they beat me technically in this group ride, but if he hadn't been there, this would have been a successful Swiss Freedom Mover. And that is why I never hit the front. I did count, actually. I was watching the race and I counted the number of times that my watts went to zero, that my draft went to zero, and in a 33-minute race, it came to less than 4 seconds that I was on the front. It's not hard. Just don't pedal past people.
Yeah, make sure the races are really easy, people. No one hit the front.
Yeah.
That's what makes me laugh, is that if there was lots of riders who were like us who didn't want to hit the front, that'd be such funny races.
I just don't
Eventually you get
understand.
someone breaking away.
Like, I was in a race of five people. I was in a race of 5 people on Sand and Sequoias. It was the top category race. And there's people like doing 6 watts per kilogram on the front. Like, and I'm doing 3.5 on the back. I'm like, why are you going so hard? I mean, I wouldn't mind doing my turn if we were all doing 3.5. But why are you doing 5 on the front? And then we get to the climb. We get to the Titans. And he's knackered. And I can stick with him, even though he's much, much more powerful than me. And maybe he wants to work out. Maybe he wants to work out. It's fair enough.
Yeah, some people just want to ride hard. They're like, rather than doing a workout, I'm just going to do VI2 efforts or do threshold efforts. But it does make me laugh when you ride with a rider who's doing 5-6 watts per kilo, and then you get to the climb and they do 5-6 watts a kilo. It's like, if you just did 4 watts per kilo, you could have
we do less.
Yeah, you could have
knackered by the time they get there.
Yeah, smashed it. I think part of that video that I made showed how you can be doing exactly the same power, but if your pack position is slightly different, you'll get a massive momentum boost. So I think if you go to my video at, what is it? Let's have a look. It was at 33 minutes and 6 seconds.
That's what I did.
And you'll see that.
To do that. 33, did you say?
Yeah, 33 and 6 seconds. And if you watch
33:02, is that okay?
That's fine. So if you watch, is that the right one? Why is it showing? Oh, maybe pretty certain it was 33 minutes. Maybe that's right. That was where it got dropped. So just press forward a few times, because I don't know why it shows my one's 33 minutes. I can just share my screen otherwise.
Oh, can you? Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I'll do that. Just give me a second. I don't know how good the quality will be though. Your quality might be better.
How does that work then?
I just use my virtual camera. So.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'll show you.
This is technological genius. I didn't think this. I can see 2 of you. Oh, that's
okay,
a
there
video
we go.
though. You've
yeah,
been
that's my video.
What? What the hell is going on?
So that's my. So if I play that, so now if you look on, you can see the climbing bike and the aero bike.
Oh, they're tiny. Okay.
See that?
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
probably a
Okay,
bit
let's
tiny.
do this. Let's do this. Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that doesn't really work.
Yeah. So I'll go back. So at the moment, it's probably a little bit hard to see, but I'll pause it. And so my climbing bike is a lightweight. So on the left, and then you can see my B-Pit Burrito Titans on the climbing. So if you just watch my name tag just fly past, and it looks like I'm making an attack with the aero bike.
Oh yeah.
So you couldn't. So it's probably a little bit further back. You'll see me ride past. Actually, yeah, this is the best bit. So this is my bike going past here. And looks like I'm doing a lot more power, but I literally just had a momentum shift. So there he goes past that bit there. I'm doing a few kilometers an hour faster.
Yeah.
And if you're in a race, you think
you've been sucked into that group ahead, haven't you?
Yeah, like it literally looks like I've coming past here again. It looks like I put the power down, and you're like, oh, I better. If I was the climbing bike, I'd have to be putting another 100 watts just to catch up that momentum.
Yeah,
but I'm doing exactly the same power. And so that's where positioning. I better change my sharing screen. So that's where positioning is so important.
Oh,
Coming into a climb.
This is so. No one's ever gone. Nobody has ever gone into this level of detail in a
Yeah,
Zwift
because it's
podcast
quite
before.
boring.
I don't care. I think it's fascinating. It's even more fascinating than my Zwift, than my Excel functions video.
But it just shows how important is momentum is. Like as Chat said, if you start near the back of a climb and you get a little bit of momentum into the climb, you don't hit the front, but you can just get near the front doing far less power than the people at the front. They've got a kick.
Yeah, but you've actually got to resist the temptation to pedal so much when you hit the climb. If it's approaching it properly, you hit it and you think, oh, I've got to go, but you don't, because the speed's so high generally on most climbs. The speed's so, unless it's it's after a bump or something, the speed's so high you don't need to. And
like that section you showed where you go down the hill and then go around the curve.
Yeah, I mean that's
you're going so fast in that. Yeah, that's the worst place you want to be at the front. You literally have you killed your chances.
You're doing 50 odd kilometers per hour. But it is the big difference between real life bike racing, isn't it? Because in a real life bike race, that would be a disaster to be at the back. Because people are going to attack up that hill, aren't they? And you can't get past them. But in Zwift, you can. I can follow. No problem.
The worst case scenario is like if you're doing one of the classics and people will stop on the climb and you can't go anywhere. You have to get off.
Making their way through a gate or something. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Simon. What's the most important thing that you've learned about Zwifting compared to I don't know. Do you have a fun Zwift fact or something? Your key piece of learning when that's important. I'm glad I learned that.
I mean, very simply for me, I think the drafting thing was clearly an early thing that I needed to learn a little bit more. I think that kind of mantra around four riders in front. I don't use source, so I have to do it on feel. I do feel, particularly when I listen to this conversation, that I do feel like the Zwift algorithm does bias certain weights. Having been lighter a while ago during my Zwifting time, I know how much those kinds of things don't affect as much when you're lighter, and you do get penalised. I think you get more penalised than you do when you're outside as well. But as you get, I'm a little bit heavier now, and I do certainly when I did the Scotland route that's in Tour de Zwift this week, I felt that very bit of road quite different from how I did when I was a lighter rider, and I started to understand a little bit more what you were talking about. But when you're light, it just doesn't work the same. It doesn't. And that's why when you get to the end of the race, a lot of the lighter riders have got higher watts per kilo. Yeah. It's not necessarily because they're not as efficient. It's because they have to ride harder to do the same thing.
Yeah, and this is why Zwift Racing Score is such a good thing, isn't it? Like the lighter riders being, just so having to work so bloody hard in category enforced races. Yeah. It's just stupid.
I mean, it really only helps in the larger climbs, and
it doesn't really help there. It's just you're not getting the penalty.
You're not getting a bigger disadvantage.
Your disadvantage is less.
You're finally on a slightly more level playing field.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, understanding how the drafting works and feeling it better over time has been the biggest thing for me. Some racecraft as well. A lot of racecraft I watch. Like I said, a lot of the YouTubers and try and understand a little bit more how to do it better. But ultimately, in the end, it still comes down to who's the most powerful, apart from occasionally who's the most clever.
Well, I don't know, really. I mean, I entered a top cat race this week. It was the one I was talking about where there's guys on the front doing 5.5 or something. I was like, I just felt completely outgunned. it's actually hard to show, isn't it? The 20 minute after the results have come out. But there was 12 guys in this race, and I think 9 or 10 of them had 4.9 or above 20 minutes. I was like, oh man, I'm going to get
Well,
thrashed. I'm going to get thrashed.
I
And I
think
came second.
something else I've learned is that it's not necessarily about the power at the longer times. It's about the power. Certainly listening to you
Yeah,
talking about those graphs, it's more the powers in the 3 5 minute.
true,
They're
true.
what they're
But their
and it
their five
that's
minutes was greater than my 1 minute. Almost. It was like
you,
they were
you.
huge.
I'm not denying that being very smart about how you Zwift can make a difference.
Yeah,
I'm not denying that at all, but yeah.
I think my biggest thing when I was a lot fitter, if you're the hammer, the ability to ride efficiently in the group is so much easier because you're never worried about being dropped, and
you can
you
always
actually,
catch on.
yeah, you've always got that 10-second sprint, which because you're fresh. And so what you'll find is a lot of the times the strongest rider in the group and the person might not win the race because they might not have the best sprint. Sometimes, sprint, you can't beat sprinters. If you take a sprinter to the finish, they're going to beat you regardless. But in terms of being the hammer, a lot of the time the strongest rider will not show the strongest 5 minute power because they don't need to show their power. They can always put a little bit of effort in and they'll be in the best positioning. So I remember when I was talking on Backpedal, which is one of the Discord chats, and I was talking about how I always dangle at the back, but then people are saying, which is true, if you're struggling in the group, it's very difficult to dangle because you haven't got that punch to get back into the group if you get dropped out of the
Like
draft.
a
Whereas if
little
you're
gap opens up in front of you. If you're powerful enough, you can just bridge it, and you've
yeah,
saved that energy, and yeah, no problem. I'll just move up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially if you've got 4 or 5 riders who leave a gap a bit further up the road, like about 15 meters ahead of you. If you don't spot that and you're powerful, it doesn't matter. You just bridge that gap. But if you're struggling, you're hanging on, you're out the door. So if you're the hammer, you can have so much more freedom in a group compared to being just hanging on. If you're just hanging on, if you get to the back of the group and someone else lets the gap go, you're gone as well.
Yeah, and Dave Beachy in the chat has said he actually used a similar phrase. Actually, biggest thing he's learned is how important the mental aspect is, and that really does make a difference. When I'm feeling good, and I know I'm good, it makes it so much of the game actually is in your head, and you still gotta have the legs, obviously. But when you're down and you're used to losing, especially if you're doing like you know, which I was doing the Z racing. Occasionally you'd find a route where it just wasn't working, nothing was working, and you'd try oh god, I'd always get dropped at the same spot, or I'd lose the wheel at the same spot, or and you just. Or if you're in a lull, you're coming back from injury, and you don't feel good, and you just get into a cycle of, I'm giving up again, I'm giving up again, and there is a big mental aspect to it, I think.
The one of the things that I found when I was going from BCAT to ACAT was thinking, okay, if I can get to 12 minutes, that seemed to be the magic spot where everyone else, like people will be too tired to push any harder. So if you get to 12 minutes, yes, that first 12 minutes was absolutely horrible, but the rest of the race isn't going to be as hard as that first 12 minutes. So if you can get to 12 minutes, the race will ease up and you'll stay in the group. It's a bit like when you go up a climb. You think, I'm going to get dropped at any moment here, and I can't do this for the rest of the climb. But if you can just think, okay, I don't want to be the next person dropped, just hang in for the next person, and sometimes obviously you will get dropped.
Like little
but
goals. I'll just make it to the climb. I'll make it up the climb. I'll make it to halfway up the climb or whatever.
Yeah, just get around this corner. Just get next corner, because sometimes the pack will slot because someone at the front's absolutely drilling it as hard as they can, but they're the sort of person who can't control themselves. They go way too hard at the start, and so
when you're the hammer, you like seeing that, don't you? You're like, well, okay, off you go, off you go. I want you to do that. I want you to go hard. I want you to use your energy now. Whereas
I think So I was to say the thing when you're indoors and generally you're in a room by yourself because the rest of your family or people you live with or you might live by yourself anyway don't want anything to do with you while you're riding. But when you're indoors, it's only 20 seconds away to your shower. So you're constantly sitting there thinking, you know what? I can stop when I'm off.
Yeah.
When you're outdoors, you've ridden away from where you want to be. You've got to ride back. So there's that mental thing to do it. When you're indoors, you're constantly saying to yourself, "Why am I doing this? I can just stop, get off, and go and have a jockey bar." You know. So yeah, it's a completely different mental attitude. You know, indoors to just make yourself get there, particularly when you're not feeling great. So
one of the great YouTubers, Peter McMullen. What's the point? Is often just you get you drunk. What's the point? Well, I'm just riding a bike in a garage. I can just get off.
It's not like I've got to ride my bike 20 miles to get home. You know, I'm already home. What am I doing?
Okay, bit of a change of tack. I know we've got loads to discuss, but I'm going to bring in another topic. Another bonus topic. Troy, welcome, Troy. You said you joined, and I'm glad you did. Do you think ladder racing will ever? He's like, ladder racing's the proper thing. And it is, isn't it? I think ladder racing should and will eventually overtake ZRL as the ultimate form of racing, if it hasn't already.
I love ladder racing. Only thing is, it's if you don't have steering, it is so hard. And a lot of people can't buy steering.
They should standardise that, shouldn't they? They should have either a non-steering league and steering league, or do you reckon? There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way, or
it's up to the captains, but the problem is I've forgotten who it's in charge of. If the captains
let's not bring that up. Let's not bring that up. That was the biggest brouhaha of my Discord.
Can I tell the story of my first ladder race?
No.
So I'm gonna ACT. I was racing for ACT, first ladder race ever. I'm the only one in our team with steering. We're actually racing Eric Schlangies, is that right? I can never pronounce it right. Yeah. His team. Well, they've all got steering. That's better than he pronounces it. Yeah, they've all got steering. I'm the only one in our team that's got steering, and I'm probably maybe the fourth or fifth strongest in a team of 5. Straight out of the gate, all 5 of their team move over to the right with their steering, I'm the only person in our team with steering. All I did was move across and follow the other team. The other 4 all went backwards because they couldn't follow the 5 in front. We all steamed off and I was the only one at the front, and I wasn't the strongest rider. It was ridiculous. Ever since then, Dan always makes sure he has a conversation with the team captain to make sure we agree whether it's on or off. But yeah, it makes a massive difference in ladder racing. Massive difference. Within 5 seconds, that race was over.
But I mean, if you're as strong as the other team, then you should be able to TTT together as much as them. But I suppose because you abandoned your team, then you're actually down.
Well, yes, it was my fault. I know.
But if you TTT, Rob, you get to their group and they just sit behind you and draft, have a bit of a rest, and then they go again.
Yeah.
So that's the issue with steering, is you can never rest on their wheel. They can always rest on your wheel.
To be fair to them, there was a surprise element to as well. We weren't expecting it, and they had already gone quite a long way ahead before the other 4 had a chance to respond. I'm not even sure. I just went because I follow whoever's wheels in front of me. So yeah,
you won't
every team now on Zwift knows you just hammer it out of the gate on ladder races now. There's no, you can't hang around, because that's the number one tactic, is just the whole team sprint like hell. Yeah, it's the number one tactic. So if you don't do that with your team, then you better start learning.
I also agree. For me, it's the most fun team event as well. You get tactics in ladder racing you wouldn't see in ZRL or anything else team based at all. It's just, it's a little bit more like cycling outdoors than a lot of the other stuff, whereas it just seems to be all out, whereas ladder is a bit more, it just feels like there's more tactics to it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, right. I agree. It's one of the best things. So if anyone hasn't done ladder racing, get steering and do ladder racing.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone got any tips for Douce France? Have you heard they've released the bloody power-ups? So they're stupid.
What's the power ups?
The power-ups are 50%. So it's random, but it's 50% aero. Okay, so the best one. 40% draft fan, rubbish, and 10% ghost. Why 10% ghost? What the hell? Like, imagine being the 1 in the 100 guy who gets 2 ghosts first 2 sprints. Like, what? What is that all about?
I don't. Yeah, sometimes I wonder why they don't just make aero just a power up for every single event.
Yeah, I mean, they've got this idea of, like, plenty of races they've done, right, you get this, there, this, there, this, there. Everyone gets it. Boom. Oh, it's fair enough, isn't it? Or, 30% random, feathered, draft, whatever. But then to give 10% of people, like, a useless power-up. Completely useless. I mean, it's a very small fraction of people who want to do a breakaway on the first 2 sprints. And, and plan it in advance and then get it. Not the first 2 sprints because you don't get one on the first sprint. But absolute nonsense. What is that all about? Come on, people, join me in the hatred. My hatred. Let the hatred flow through you. Come on.
I'm gonna let Simon say it first, and then I'll go on to my spiel.
Well, I was just thinking that I feel that they don't use the burritos enough, but
you just got a lot of hate.
I mean, it's an interesting point. Zwift is a game, and we talk a lot about cheating, but actually, okay, the power-ups only affect for a very small part of the race, but if you get 3 arrows on a race like Douce France and you're unlucky enough to get 3 ghosts, someone's being advantaged over someone else. Yeah. And it's an interesting one, really. I thought about this a lot. About there was a race you did, wasn't there, Robert, not that long ago, and you got 6 or 7 ghosts.
7 ghosts. It was a 50-50 chance. I think it's
when you compare that to someone who, okay, if there's a big field and they get 6 or 7 draft fans, and that's going to save them X amount of effort over quite a significant period of time in a race, it does make quite a big difference. So, yeah, it's a strange one, the power-ups. I think,
I'll play.
Sorry, go on, Rob.
No, go ahead.
I'm going to mute Ben. I'm going to mute Ben if he's going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to mute him. There we go. Right, we can't hear Ben now. He's going to say something stupid. Oh, go on. Say your stupid thing. Go on.
As someone who used to do ZRL against extremely strong riders I'd be racing against aero elite riders. So I had riders who were far too good for me. But one of the advantages of having this randomized thing is I get the aero power up, and if they get the ghost, that levels the playing field for me. So it's effectively like a mechanical that Zwift have given these elite riders. So yes, if I get the ghost, it ruins my race almost. But giving other riders potentially terrible power-ups and me a great power-up then enables me to possibly have a better result in the race. Now, I obviously it's not the most ideal situation. Preferably everyone gets the aero. But if I got the aero in that race, it would make me feel a little bit more positive mentally, going, okay, I've got the best power-up. Potentially the best riders have the worst power-up. I'm still in this race.
What you're saying, Ben, is as long as the power-ups advantage you, you're okay with them.
Oh yeah, of course. If they don't advantage me, stuff Zwift. I'm not paying my subscription that week.
Oh my god! It's like we're an hour and 40 minutes in, and this topic wasn't even on the discussion board. Oh my word! Right. I'm taking control again. Right. Oh, there's nothing much else to say. Is there much else to say? The future of Zwift. The future of Zwift. We have talked about the future of Zwift. So yeah, I do think that AI will have a big thing to play because people will be able to spin up Zwift replicas within minutes, in my view. And
But is that
it's
gonna-
having the community.
is it
It's
going-
having the community. I know. It's having the community.
But going on the Future of Zwift, is it also, if you're using AI to change the program, how is that going to affect the cheating? Because I can use an AI to cheat.
Yeah. It'd be impossible to catch the cheats. I don't care in a way. Do I? I do care because I hated getting beat by that guy with the flat power in the group ride. I hated that, and that'll be in races, won't it? They're bound to be
But-
better than the detection methods, aren't they?
In the end, whatever organisations do, whatever people do, people will find a way around it. If you put something in, someone will find a way around it. Put something else in, someone will find around it. In the end, the only thing that can happen is people change, and that ain't going to happen. So we have to accept
people can
it.
change. We get better over time, don't we?
Really?
I hope so.
Some of us do, but we're the ones that then get affected negatively by that cheating. So I don't know. In the end, we just have to let it happen. Try and ignore it as the best, and use it as a subject in podcasts to discuss and use as clickbait on our videos. So
One of the issues with Zwift is it's unlike any other online gaming. Like if you play Call of Duty, like Formula One races and stuff, at the beginning of the event, you can't enter a thing saying, you're going to get a performance boost because you're a light rider. So with Zwift, you can have all the cheat detection and everything, but at the end of the day, if someone wants to cheat, they'll just put down 50 kilograms as their weight. And there's nothing you can do about that. And so there is that massive hole for Zwift, or any online cycling platform.
Yeah, like Rob said, in the end, 95% of people are honest, will do the right thing, and we have to remind ourselves that generally the fields we're racing against are the same as us, in their rooms, going as hard as they can. The other 5%,
95% honest. I actually believe that it's near a half.
Yeah.
Well, nearly half of people went up, in my opinion.
Well,
so staying on topic, what do you think about Zwift making more in-person events? Like obviously we talked to Josh a few weeks ago about how amazing it was going to the Zwift event and meeting all the riders he rides against. What about if there was more events locally so that you can go to, say, Rafa or something, and you can do an event, might only be once every 6 months, but a lot of people local to you will go in there and you'll meet people that you potentially race at the same time zone, depending obviously on things, but you might meet someone that you actually race in real life and you probably think, I hate that person. That's my nemesis on Zwift. I want to kick their ass. But then you meet him in real life and you actually realize that you've got so much in common that you're basically your best buddies.
Go on, Simon.
So let's say they hired a big hall in London and they set some equipment out and they tried to do an event. Would people turn up and do it? They might do. I mean, it's ironic that the one they're doing this year is an actual in real life ride in one of the Spanish islands.
So much money.
And you kind of think, well, Zwift, you're virtual riding and you're now creating an event which is in real life biking. But maybe
they haven't done it somewhere accessible to Europeans, haven't they? They're like, okay, but then again, who's going to come to London, to expensive city to?
I don't know.
Where do you go?
You can have it in different regions.
Yeah, I think a lot of if travel costs weren't an issue, I mean we're all spread around the world, but close knit communities like the Zwifties or like HCT or like some of the other bigger communities might be prepared to do that so that they could meet the people that they have been chatting to for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But I think wider that would be a bit more tricky. But if we did something like that with the Zwifties through Zwift, I'd certainly turn up because there's a lot of people I'd love to meet. But we're all spread around. Yeah. Sorry, Ben.
I'd love to do it. When I was racing with Aero, there's probably 7 or 8 of us here in Melbourne. And I was always keen to get us all to go to the same venue, like someone's house or garage, when we're doing a ZR race, and so we can actually be in the same spot and chat tactics. Now, I do know one of the riders who was from Canberra came to Melbourne and actually went to one of our teammates' place and did it in the shed. Only thing is they didn't have enough fans, so they absolutely cooked. But they had a great time because they could just sit there and chat to each other in real time. And I was thinking I should have taken my trader there until I heard about the fan issue. But to me, that would be the next level that Zwift could. Zwift doesn't put too much money into it because other companies jump on board, like Rafa, Map, because Map's a Melbourne-based company. So I'm sure in Melbourne that would be something they'd be keen to do. It doesn't have to be Zwift investing in it.
I suppose just a lot of their customers just are not at all interested in life riding, are they? Like Zwift, they just no.
But it's not. You're still racing on Zwift. You just go somewhere else and have
but not many people
a race.
Racing even.
Yeah,
you know
but
what I mean? Most people are just riding around, aren't they?
I think what about the chat? How many people in the chat would do it? How many people got watching?
I suppose the question is, how near to you would you do it? Everyone would do it if it was at the end of the road, but how near to you would you do it?
But also going back to my point, I don't think I would turn up if it was just random Zwift people.
Right,
but if it were people, like the groups that we all interact with, people on the podcast now that we know and we've got to know, I would love to do that. But turning up to a random event organised with just random people turning up, I probably wouldn't, do that. But I'd love to do something like that with people that I've become friends with. No.
Rob doesn't want to meet anyway. He just wants to do a podcast.
Yeah, unless I was in charge. Unless they put me in charge. I'm not interested. Right. That's enough is enough, people. Let's get on with the quiz. Should we do a quiz? Unless there's anyone else anything interesting to say?
We didn't have any cheat tips. I know that there was a few cheat tips.
We're going to rate the worlds. We're going to rate the worlds. Let's rate the worlds.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to change the rules though. Look at my thing. Right. So the idea is that the best worlds, the best thing obviously is Kaboom. Kaboom is the best thing that you can imagine. Perfect. Aero is the next best thing. Tron, medium. Ventop, big crap. Burrito is the worst. Nothing to do with our respective teams, Ben, and their names. Just pure coincidence that my team name happens to be at the top and your team name happens to be at the bottom.
You don't want to have a ladder race against us.
No, I don't.
James just came back after doing the cycling for the America's Cup, and so he's absolutely beasting it.
Well,
I don't want to race with him.
You all beast it. Right, so I was going to get us to all rate all the worlds, which is 30, which would have taken literally forever. So how about we all try and put one in each category? How about that? So you've got to pick a worst, you've got to pick a burrito, you've got to pick a Kaboom. So let's start off in the let's start off at the top. Right, which world are you going to put in the top category, the Kaboom category, the best world of all for you, Simon Jenkins?
Oh
man, this is really hard to select them. I've got to pick off the name. No, like I've got to find the icon. I've called them all T0 to T30, and it's really hard to select them. Oh man, oh god.
Look, I'm sorry to say, but it's just a fairly easy choice for me, and that's Watopia.
Is the worst or the best?
Sorry, I thought you said best.
Oh, did I say best? Sorry. Well done, yeah.
Are we going worst then?
What do you want me to?
Worst. Yeah, worst. Yeah.
Worst first.
Yeah.
Paris.
Oh, I I was thinking of that. Just give me a second. Sorry, I've got to find the names of these bloody things.
It's basically one course, and it's a sprinter's course. So
Yeah. So what I'd like you to consider for your choices are the best feature, the worst feature, and how it is for you. So Simon has gone Paris. Oh, look, I've done it! I've done it! I've done it! I've moved it! I've moved it in real time. Look at me! Check
But you're
me
not
out.
in the right spot, eh?
yeah, it
Aren't
needs
you
to be on
supposed to
the
be in the burrito?
burrito. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's deselected itself. Now I can't reselect it. Oh no! What's it called?
So
again?
look,
Oh man,
I quite like
Man,
Paris
this is
because
so
it's
hard.
like riding the end of the Tour de France, but it's still
Yeah.
one course and it's still for sprinters. So no thanks.
Yeah, fair enough. Ben, your worst. Your worst.
Definitely France. France can
France.
go get.
France has got Ven Top. What are you talking about?
Exactly. It's got it's got a couple of rollers, but it really is a boring course if you don't go up Ventop, and if you go up Ventop, then it's even worse.
There's a bit of a joke in the HCT Discord that whenever we get a ladder race, Dan says, and it's our choice of course, Dan says, what course do we want? So I always answer him, say we need to do Ventop for a ladder race. He's now deleting every time I make that comment out of the Discord server. So
I
think in the ladder rules you're not allowed to use Ventop, because it's not.
it's too long.
Too long, right?
It's too long, I think. Yeah.
So you got France as well, Rob.
I'm going to go France as well. It's just so dull. I mean, I like what you call it, the climb.
It's got Mont Saint Michel in it.
Petite Com.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, but that's like the most boring part of the course though. Like it's good that you can see it, but nothing ever happens in that section.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like strolling along.
It reminds me of old family holidays. So.
Okay.
I really like the balloon fields and the intestines. If they had more of that, then I'd be happier.
What's next?
I didn't include the event-only worlds, so Gravel Mountain, Crit City, and Bologna are not included because it took me forever just to bloody create 30 images, I'm afraid. Right. Should we go with? Let's go with the medium. Let's go with the medium next.
Is that the green? Is it?
The Tron.
Yeah.
So.
Tron.
Yeah, Tron level, medium. Neither fussed. Oh, it's got good and bad. I'll tell you what. I'll go first since I went last time.
Opinionated.
I would say I'm not opinionated, Ben. You got confused with something this week, didn't you? That was funny. You got confused with Ben Feinsilver, didn't you?
Yeah.
the great rider Ben Feinsilver. I was like, oh, you've been to so many good videos, and he couldn't even remember your name.
I think it's, well, I won't go into it, but yeah, Zwift Insider knows who I am. All right, so I'll go next since I'm talking. I think for me, Innsbruck, because I love the leg snapper, but I hate the Lucia, reverse Lucia.
Oh my word! Really? With that 20-minute climb, it's going in the middle.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I like the leg snapper. If you're just doing the leg snapper course, that's a great course.
Yeah, I've done the leg snapper maybe like 100 times, but I've done the climb maybe twice. Only in under duress.
Richmond for me.
Richmond.
It just bores the pants off of me, but equally it does create quite good races. So yeah. I can never tell where I am on the course in Richmond as well because everything looks the same.
How
early was that, do you think? Richmond? Was that fairly?
That was one of the first worlds.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because it was a world champs was there. So back when Zwift used to do the world champs courses every year.
Okay, so it's your turn to lead us off for well, let's go for the top rank, the kaboom, the ultimate level, favorite
Are you
world,
talking
Ben Pit.
to me or Simon? Okay. I would have gone Mercury, but I'll not do Mercury as the most obvious one. I love New York. I know it's a very, very controversial
Really?
choice. Yeah,
Holy
I've come to love New
cow!
York.
Is it because you're one of the few people who knows your way around eventually, or?
Yes, I think so. I think I've actually taken the time. Plus, also, it really rewards having really great momentum. So
Well, go on, speak a
it's
little bit more about that. Not a lot, not a lot more, just a little bit more. What do you mean
it,
by
it plays to my strengths
how does it
because
reward
I've
momentum?
got well, because it's got all the little ups and downs. It's not a flat course
Right.
ever. You never have a flat, and so if you can, yeah, it just plays to my strengths. I always have the best results compared to other courses.
I watched the Nathan did the what's it called, the herd? Oh no, it's the HDR the chop race, big race that they do, where it's a chase race, and they were doing what you call it, the one that ends LaGuardia loop, and there's 50 of them, like top, or maybe 30, like coming into the final sprint, and nobody went long. That's the finish on LaGuardia Loop, isn't it? Surely you go long on
Well,
LaGuardia Loop.
if you got top riders on Zwift, you're doing 60 kilometers an hour. It's kind of hard to like you go long, you just hit the wind.
Man, you're determined to. You're just like everything you say is wrong, Rob. You're just
Isn't this my
wrong,
job? Isn't
wrong
this my
about
job? If I
everything.
agree with you, it's really
Man,
boring if I agree
but
with you.
just literally everything though. Can I be right about something? Blimey! Wow.
No, you cannot be right about everything.
Someone's got to go for Yorkshire, by the way. Otherwise, Holly Bergen's gonna like. You can't just miss out Yorkshire altogether. She's got to like hunt us down. I think for your own safety, you better choose Yorkshire at some stage. My favorite. Oh, go on, Simon. Go on, Simon. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, Watopia for me. Most of my best times have been there. It's got the only course where I'm able to compete against decent riders, being the Alp. So Watopia for me.
Oh, the Alp. I mean, I was gonna. Even its worst feature, the Alp is awesome. I think. And if you don't like, if you, I mean, it's basically if you don't like Zwift, you don't. If you don't like Utopia, you don't like Zwift, really, don't you?
Yeah, I'd
Which
like to be a bit more, interesting about my choice, but yeah, it's where my best races are. One of my favourite ones is the one where you helped me to a win because I had very few gold cups in my Zwift power list. I
oh,
remember
you
that
had to
one,
get
so
one
yeah,
little extra
yeah,
compliment in there at the end, didn't you? That was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? But it was still, it's a win is a win. I mean, you won it by a bloody mile as well, didn't you? No, it was a great win. It was a great win. It was just there was just some guy, and he wasn't a cheat, but he was just massive. He was like, what was he like, 98 kilograms or something, and he was just on the front all the time. So we just decided to get on the back of him, and we managed to.
yeah. I think he was using something that was giving him the incorrect power because I actually saw that he had gone back to a C. He was an A in that race, and he had gone back to a C. So, but he helped me. So,
Yeah,
You
I mean,
hooked
what
your
can you do
wagon
for
to
someone
his.
like that in the race? You've got to take advantage of it, haven't you?
yeah.
And I will. Do you want to have a guess at what I will choose, Simon?
Yorkshire isn't when you married there or
I
something.
did get married. I did get married in Yorkshire, but I'm gonna risk the wrath of
You're going
Holybergen.
Scotland.
Yeah, I'm going to Scotland, the
All
home of
right,
the Zwifty manoeuvre. I love the climbs. I love the
and the
rolling
muckle, yeah.
nature. The corner cutting I can do against the Australians. You know, I, I love all that. I love everything about it. Really, it's got no massive climbs. I love the gravel climb. Love the finishes. Pretty much. Apart from the lock loop, I've very rarely done the lock loop. I don't like it at all. But apart from that, I love Scotland. There we go. I don't think we should do like fill out the other levels because
Every single one, no.
it's
Yeah,
we've
but
gone on long enough, and we've still
while
got
we're
quiz.
kind of on a related topic, how many people have actually seen the Yeti on the app?
Oh,
Have you seen
Ben,
the
we
Yeti?
can't have that. Come on, what's this?
Well, I just want to know because I'm trying to find Bigfoot in whatever it's called on the new part of Watobia. I've seen the Yeti. I just haven't seen Bigfoot, and so I'm wondering if Zwift actually ever
I don't
included
think I've
Bigfoot.
seen it. I don't think I've seen it. As far
Anyone
as
in the chat?
But I
I
don't
might
look
have
at the
to ask
graphics at
Zwift.
all. I just don't look at them at all. I nearly had
might-
If I'd had Crit City in these worlds, I would have nearly put Crit City at the top because I love Crit City. I love knowing the routes. I love the finishes, and I don't care about them going round and round. I'm not actually moving. So I don't.
Which direction do you like, or do you like both?
I like the one where you go up the rollers, down the cobbles.
That way? I hate that way.
Really?
That's yeah. I like the other way because the other way you can do basically sprint training. You can do the 12 laps. Every single time you go up the cobbles is just a max sprint. Then you just cruise the rest of the time. And
Yeah, I like it because you don't have to put any effort anywhere really. Just like 2 second effort up to the rock.
Yeah, you just sprint up the sprint.
Like
You just sprint up the cobbles.
Sprint. 2 second sprint. Boop. Not even a sprint. You can just roll up them, most of them. People just drag you up. But then you can do great breakaways.
Evil saying that Eric had Bigfoot on his vid, so I'll have to look for that link because I found the Yeti, but I haven't seen the Bigfoot.
London does have the most diverse life. I'm agreeing with Dave Beachy. I've got to say I'm really into Dave Beachy tonight. Right, we've got to do this quiz. We're 2 hours into this bloody podcast. Should we do the quiz, please?
Yeah, let's do the quiz.
Right, where's the quiz scene? Right, there we go. Right, so I hope this, because we've gone on for so long, this link might have bloody expired. But if you go to www.kahoot.it, and you really should if you're at all interested in doing the quiz, you really should download the Kahoot ! App. Have you downloaded it, Simon?
I do have it, yes.
Yeah, there you go. Be like
Simon. It does
Simon.
enhance the experience.
Be like Simon. Download the app. Comment on all videos that you watch of poor Zwifters. Just be like Simon, basically. No, your life will be so much better, and you'll feel if you're more like Simon. Ben Brown. Ben Brown should have Diddy, really, shouldn't he? Ben Brown. Everybody loves some Ben Brown. Drafty Drafter, that's a great name. Right, okay, I think that's enough. Peter's here with... Oh, God, more people are joining. Oh, man.
What do you mean there's enough? There's like 3 people.
Right, let's start. Okay. Yeti, Ben Brown, Drafter, Downhill King, Simon Jenkins, Some Jenkins. Are you in yet? Ben?
Yeah, I'm the Yeti.
Okay. Do you think we should start? I've said that if we have a quiz with less... Oh, man. Well, less than 10, then I don't have to... Do you think I should just do a quiz once a month? Do you think that would be better? Oh, man.
Once a month?
Oh, man. Well, do you think a quiz once a month would be more appropriate than once a week? I think...
I do once a week. Because it's at the end anyway. If people are bored, they just quit anyway. They don't have to watch.
Yeah, but I've got to bloody do the quiz.
You want to go definitely 3 times a week.
Oh, who do you think? I was trying to ponder who I thought Safety with Dis was, because he's the king of the quiz now. Even Peter can't keep up with him. I wonder if it's Eric. I think it might be Eric Lee. Any thoughts? Who Safety with Dis might be?
Why do you think that? What's your...
Because he often uses a safety bike with this. That's my only.
That's kind of obvious, then.
Yeah, that's his kind of thing, isn't it? And it's He wouldn't want to reveal. He'd want to keep himself under the radar.
He's
He
too
doesn't.
he's
He
too
doesn't. He
he's too
doesn't
famous.
need. He doesn't need the fame of being the Zwifty Chat quiz winner, does he? He's 10 times more viewers
He's
than me.
always jumping in the chat too. So
Yeah. I think it might be Eric.
okay,
If you'd
I'll
like
agree
to
with that.
deny it,
You're right this time, Rob.
I was right by what?
That he is safety with this. It'd be funny if actually it isn't Eric. The one time that I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Oh, you agreed with me on a really irrelevant, tiny topic. Oh, that makes me feel much better, actually. Oh, more of your burritos are joining, but someone else has left. Okay, should we start? Let's start. Okay,
Let's go. Let's go.
let's go. Flat
I want
January.
to. Can't wait to finish mid pack.
Fastest flat kind of stuff. Right, question 1 of the quiz is: what is stage 3 of fastest flat Z Racing Series 2025? Is it Downtown Dolphin, Champs Elysees, Fan Flats, or Douce France?
Did we discuss this on the podcast? Because
Nope.
I can't remember it.
Nope, no, we didn't.
Oh, at least there was no clues. I got it right. I just went because we're talking about Douce France.
Yeah. It's just a coincidence that it's both stage 3 of Z Racing and stage 2 of ZRL. I'm glad I filled people with Fan Flats. That would have been a better stage. Right, Ben Brown and Seb. Seb has been a quiz runner-up a lot lately. How many times have you won the quiz, including in the drops, Simon?
2 or 3?
Yeah.
2, I think, definitely. Certainly the last one, which I'm still owed my prize for, by the way.
Yes, it's here. I found it. I did have like a couple of days where I couldn't find it. I was like, oh my god, I thought I've lost the bloody I've lost the thing. But I have got it. It's just down there, still in the bag. Just down there.
I'm feeling a little bit behind the curve at the moment.
I was going to give you on Tuesday. You didn't turn up.
Yeah. No, I mean on the quizzes, not on the. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you next week. I'll get my prize.
Right. Question 2. What was peak Zwift this year? I haven't told you this either. Was it 41,280, like the maximum number of users so far this year?
Where did you find this? Because I know that
Reddit.
GP Llama does it. Oh, okay. GP Llama used to always cover this.
Yeah.
I think it was during this.
Sorry.
I
meant to say it during the podcast, but I didn't.
How good is your guessing skills?
Yeah, how could you get? It's weird that we are worse than random monkey guessers, apparently.
Well, I went the same as everyone else. I just went bottom left. That's usually my go-to if I got no idea what the answer is.
Yeah, middle numbers. People are drawn to the middle numbers, aren't they? Closet Climber, but Ben Brown sticking. Oh, actually, he's the only one to get both right. Looks like. Oh, well done, Closet Climber. Wonder who that might be. Right. Question 3. Which of these climbs has the least elevation in Zwift? Is it Clyde Kicker, 23rd Street, Aqueduct, or Breakaway Bray Reverse? I meant to say the answer to this one as well. This is why I thought the quiz was easy, but apparently.
This is the easiest one yet. I'm just not going to give it. I think this is also kind of. It should be based. Yeah, I think it's pretty much based on what Douce France. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is the Aqueduct, and I used the correct spelling. And you will see a myriad of spellings of Aqueduct if you are interested.
Really?
Yeah, there's about 20 different ways of spelling it, I would say. Because it's not aqueduct, for instance, and it's not aqueduct, and it's not yeah, there's all sorts of. Oh, look at Closet Climber! Bloody hell, he's got all 3 right. On fire. Right, it gets a lot easier now, I promise. What does douce mean in French? Is it foolish, bendy, gentle, or boring?
I actually don't know the answer, but that last one made me laugh.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought that was really easy. I thought that was really easy.
I
The
got that right
people,
because I think
the people who go. Did I? Oh, I tell you what. I redid my intro to my recon video for Douce France this week because I did a rendition of the Henry V speech, St. Crispin's Day, before the Battle of Agincourt. I did a rendition of that as my intro to the Douce France thing because it's a famous battle that we won in northern France, and I just realised it was crazy to do a Shakespearean speech at the start of a recon video.
people shoot you like, what the hell am I? I just want to watch Zwift.
I know. So I redid my intro. So I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I thought I mentioned it in my intro. Was that douce means gentle in French?
Not boring, which is what it should mean.
Yeah, but what was gonna? Yeah, that video is unlisted in my. I did upload it, and I was intending on releasing it, but I didn't.
Are you going to do that as your amateur acting channel?
We happy few. No, let's not. Oh, I don't think Closet Climber got that right, but not many people did. Who were in the lead? Oh, Seb's.
What do you mean a lot of people did?
I said not a lot of people did.
No, I think a few people. I think most people got it right.
Oh, Jesus, Ben, you have to
You're
disagree
wrong
with
again,
everything.
Rob.
You don't have to just literally. It's nice to have a country voice on the podcast, but you don't have to disagree with fucking everything. Jesus, man.
Ethan had a bad sleep last night, resulting in me having a bad sleep. He's had his too many vaccinations this week. He's
Which
cranky.
Ben did Ben get confused with this week? Was it Benjamin Disraeli, Ben Fine Silver, Ben Affleck, or Ben Johnson?
Usually Ben Brad Pitt.
Ben Brad Pitt. That's not even a
Yeah,
name.
usually everyone's. Well, Brad Pitt is usually the.
Brad Pitt. Ben Brad
Yeah.
Pitt.
Well, I'm Pitt, so Ben and Brad.
Who's Brad Pitt? Oh, Brad
Oh,
Pitt.
he's Brad Pitt. Where have you been?
I thought it was a surname. Like Ben Brad Pitt. That's not a proper name. Oh, no one was listening to a podcast, Ben. How could they get you confused with what? Ben Affleck?
Oh, that's quite common. I get that on the street all the time. People
No
ask for
one was
photos.
listening. No one was listening to our podcast. They just joined the quiz and they're just clicking random shit. What's the point? What is the point, Ben?
They're just here to say.
Even
for
the
you to
people
say,
in the podcast have not listened to the podcast.
We didn't. To be fair, you didn't actually pronounce his name very well. You're like.
Man, what have I done to you? What hurt you this week? What have I done to hurt you this week?
I think I may have been on my coffee stop. Was I on my coffee stop when you mentioned that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. I'll let myself off.
Is that not how it's pronounced? Ben Finesilver.
Yeah, but when you said it, it wasn't very clear. Let's move on to the next question, Rob.
I'm going to listen back. If I said Finesilver and you're picking up on me, Man.
Michael said that you might have been muted at the time.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, Closet Climber. Oh, it's getting. Oh, Yeti. Out of nowhere comes a Yeti. 6 of 10. What competition did Zwift Insider suggest this week? Was it Run the Alp, Time Crit City Laps, Handicap Races, or On-Demand TTTs? It wasn't On-Demand TTTs, it was iTTs. But still, everyone got it, apart from one person, so fine. Don't laugh at me.
All the time. I always say TTTs.
Oh,
I do the same thing. I always say TTTs instead of individual time trials.
Closet Climber and Yeti. Look how close that is. Oh, that's like 1/10 of a second between them. I might need the toilet. No, go on. We can power on through. There are 6 weeks of different stages in Tour de Zwift. True or false? True or false? Oh, come on! Make your picks, people. Don't keep everyone else waiting. It's only 2 answers. Why did I give you so
Someone's
much
fallen
time?
asleep.
Come on! Right. 12. Yeah, you're right. Well done. Well done, you 12. You happy few. Oh, Closet Climber got it wrong. Yeti's on his own now. Ooh, I think that might be Michael Harron. I'm guessing that Yeti is Michael Harron. Don't know why. Don't know why. I just get that feeling.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What is this route? The long ride in next week's Tour de Zwift. Is it Coast Crusher, Sugar Cookie, the Big Ring, or the Magnificent Eight? Oh, we're gonna have to wait for this person who's gone away and left their quiz up.
That was me. I don't think I've done these courses very often.
No, but the person who's not guessing. Right.
That was me who kept. I was taking ages to think about it.
Okay.
Leave me alone, will you?
It is the Big Ring. It looks quite like Coast Crusher. I think I would have guessed Coast Crusher. I think that Southern Coast Road, all that sort of stuff. Oh no, virtually no one got that right. No one at the top anyway. So Drafty Drafter. I like someone who's sort of imitating my name. So good on you, Drafty Drafter. You're still in the game.
Michael says he's not Yeti.
Oh. 9 out of 10. Simon is a member of both Kaboom, Cycling Madness, and HCT. True or false? I feel I should say something to fill the void of silence.
I thought you were going to say, "Hurry up, everyone, with your choices."
Yes, a member of both. Well done, everyone there. And Yeti keeps his lead. I don't think I put double points this week on the final question. So, yeah, but everyone's in with a chance. Everyone's in with a shot. If you're on that board, Dave B's coming up late. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Dave B.
Okay, click fast, don't get it wrong.
From which route name did AI generate this cartoon? Road Sky, Sleepless City, Oh Hill No, or Rooftop Rendezvous? Oh, what will it be? Just purely from the route name. AI doesn't know anything about the routes. It was Oh Hill No.
We're pretty good with AI on that one.
Yeah. We're in tune. We're getting in tune with AI. That's where it should be. Dave B. Wow, took a podium. Didn't appear on the leaderboard till the final squad. Burrito Peter. Awesome, Peter.
Peter McMullen.
And the winner is
You're a loser, Peter.
Yeti. Congratulations, Yeti.
Who's Yeti?
We don't know. No. Would you like to own up? Oh, I didn't ask you before, Simon, but would you like to volunteer for a punishment?
I'm very happy to do so, as long as it doesn't involve me getting cramp.
Okay. Yeti, if you would like to suggest a punishment for Simon, can you think of anything off the top of your head, Ben? What?
Actually, you put me on the spot there. I'm just thinking about Peter McMullen. Going, what's the point? He came second.
Why did I listen to this podcast for 2.5 hours? Just to come second in a pointless quiz.
Yeti still hasn't owned up yet.
I still don't know
every
what
week
this bloody stuff is. Like,
Does that mean I don't have to do a punishment, or does someone else get to choose?
Ben gets to choose.
Oh.
Peter McMullen, what? He came second. Maybe if Yeti doesn't know it, maybe Peter can think of a punishment.
Oh yeah. Peter, do you want to think of a punishment? Can't be too long.
If he's still here, he might have just gone.
It can be long as it's not hard.
What was your least favourite course again?
Oh, Champs-Élysées.
Oh yeah. What's the Z race next week? I did say it's Douce France. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, we could try that in advanced. That would be a good one.
Yeah, happy to give that a go. I don't think I'll stay on very long, but oh,
They're just saying
Oh, make next week's quiz.
a lap with a pace bot. So do the highest pace bot on the volcano.
Get a lap on a pace bot on the volcano.
Yeah,
It's
with
unlikely that a pace
bot.
bot is going to be doing the volcano, is it?
okay. So when they're doing the volcano route, choose a pace spot and then try and catch it back up. Is that right?
We'll try and keep with it. I think it's try and keep with because the a bot. So not a pace bot, just a bot. And I think is it going up the hill?
No, I think getting a lap on it would mean catching it back up on the route, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Peter,
I see.
I'll try to lap him.
Yeah.
Which pace bot is it?
Well, Taylor's 1.1.
Try to lap him on the volcano loop. How many laps do you get to do, Peter? Is it just as many laps as you want?
Goes on all day, isn't it?
That's actually what I used to try and do that
that's
with.
Interesting, isn't it? Wow. What a
Coco used to do
genius
Fuego.
Peter is.
So when I said not too long and not too hard, we came up with something that's long and is I'm going to need to go hard.
Yeah, you can have one of the two.
You could give yourself half an hour to do it or something like that.
Or everyone can come in and can take it in turns, drafting me around.
Yeah, it's a great team thing. What I used to do with Coco is I used to do when she was doing the Fuego flat, I'd keep going up the hill and try and go around the hills and then come back before Coco on the, Titans. Go through Titans and come back and try and beat Coco on the way back. That was always really difficult. So this is actually a good one too. Try and lap.
I think, I think with Taylor, I think that could be a goer. I mean, obviously, I don't do YouTube, so I wouldn't be recording it. So you'd have to take my word for it.
If you want to announce on the Zwifties Discord when you're doing it,
Okay.
then we can check on you, make sure you're doing it right, and potentially help you.
And if you don't, you get booted.
Yeah.
But you should be able to, because Rob, you could probably join in because you'll be able to stream. Get a big kaboom team.
Right. So I could give you, give you a few hundred meters of draft, maybe.
Yeah, Dave. So we still haven't seen Yeti. It's pretty. I think the name was spot on. They won the competition but never turned up.
Right, I'm good.
Anonymous winners again.
I'm good with that.
Do you think it's my haters?
Okay.
I'm a bit paranoid about my haters now. Do you think it's my haters?
As long as they turn up and watch.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry. Did you?
I was just going to say it's a little bit like the Australian tennis. The lady in the Australian Open who she was getting heckled by the Australian crowd, and she shouted about, "Well, you're paying for my sailing and my yachting and my boating," and she just shouted back at them like that. It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got ads turned off for the.
Oh yeah. So you don't even get anything out of the subscription. But anyway.
No, not really. Yeah, I don't like ads really. So I've turned them off for most stuff. Apart from my Zr.app recons, which take forever. So I've turned them off for that.
Yeah, make sure you watch the ads for the Zr.app recons. Don't press skip.
Yeah, I meant to mention this earlier. What I meant to say earlier was I want to make an ad for like Zwift Racing, saying how good Zwift Racing is, and to do it to all the people who don't realise how awesome it is. So if anyone wants to send in clips of like little snapshots of you going deep and maybe triumphing or maybe failing,
keep it work safe.
That is the the highs and lows of Zwift Racing make it awesome, don't they? And one more ditty if everyone wants to join in. Simon Jenkins.
Simon Jenkins.
Yeah, the timing didn't quite work out, but okay. Thanks ever so much, Simon. Awesome as ever. Hopefully see you this week. And thanks, Ben. You disagreeable wazzick.
I might not see you for a few weeks, so I've got to get everything I can in.
Yeah. Have a
So I'll
great trip.
Yeah. If I've got decent internet, I might join in. We'll see. But I might not see you for a few weeks.
Oh, it'd be nice to be banned by the Communist Party. Do you think we could do that? Do you think we could
I
get banned by
do.
the
I
CC?
do worry sometimes because I've got to go through border. I don't want to. I don't want to upset the party too much.
Okay, thanks all, and thanks all for joining the chat. I think it was good having all the chat stuff up more often. Do you like that?
Yeah. We've got a lot of people in the chat, which is good.
Yeah. I only looked once, but there was like 45 people watching. You're a real draw, Simon. You're a real draw.
People want to see the real Simon.
Yeah.
Does he really exist, or is he just a figment of Rob's imagination?
Imaginary friend. Okay, right. Thanks all. Bye.
See you later, everyone.